High in the mountains of Asia, where the land rises in impossible steps toward the clouds, lies one of humanity's greatest acts of engineering. These are the rice terraces, staircases of water and earth carved into slopes too steep for any ordinary field. They are the work of countless generations, and they tell the story of a grain that fed half the world. The story begins with a wild grass. More than 10,000 years ago, along the valleys of the Yangtze River in what is now southern China, people first gathered the seeds of a marsh plant called ariza. Over thousands of years, by saving and replanting the heaviest, most reliable grains, they transformed that wild grass into domesticated rice. From these river valleys, the crops spread outward, carried by traders, migrants, and conquerors across India, Southeast Asia, Korea, and Japan. Rice is unusual among the great grains because it thrives in standing water. Most plants would drown, but rice has hollow channels in its stems that carry air down to roots submerged beneath a shallow flood. This flooding is the secret of the paddy. The water suppresses weeds, regulates temperature, and delivers nutrients, allowing the same field to be planted year after year without exhausting the soil. But flat land for flooding is scarce in the mountains, and so people made their own. To build a terrace is to reshape a mountain by hand. Workers cut into the slope, moving earth and stone to create a level platform, then raise a wall along its outer edge to hold back the water. Each terrace must be perfectly level, or the flood will spill unevenly and the crop will fail. Below it, another terrace, and below that another, descending the hillside in hundreds of curving steps. Some systems, like the terraces of the Philippine Cordilleras, are more than 2,000 years old. Laid end to end, their stone walls are said to stretch far enough to circle much of the globe. Water is guided down from forested peaks through a delicate network of channels and bamboo pipes, fed by springs and monsoon rain. The forest above is protected, for without it the springs would dry and the whole system would collapse. The farming year follows an ancient rhythm. In flooded nursery beds, seeds are sprouted into tender green seedlings. Then comes the transplanting, the most labor-intensive moment of all. Bent at the waist in ankle-deep mud, workers press each seedling into the soft earth by hand, one by one, across every terrace. For months the rice grows, the paddies shimmering like mirrors that reflect the sky. As harvest nears, the fields are drained and the green gives way to gold. The grain is cut with sickles, gathered into bundles, and threshed to separate seed from stalk. Then it is dried in the sun, and the hard outer husk is removed to reveal the rice within. Little is wasted. The straw becomes fodder, fuel, and thatch, and the cycle begins again. For thousands of years, this grain shaped civilizations. Rice surpluses fed the dense populations of imperial China and supported the rise of kingdoms across Asia. It became more than food. It was currency, tribute, and the measure of wealth. In Japan, a lord's power was once counted in koku, the amount of rice needed to feed one person for a year. Festivals, religions, and entire ways of life grew around the planting and the harvest. The terrace was not only a field but a community, for no single family could maintain the walls and channels alone. Today, rice remains the staple food for more than half of all the people on Earth. It is grown on every continent except Antarctica, from the vast deltas of the Mekong and the Ganges to the rice fields of Italy, California, and West Africa. Modern machines and high-yield varieties have multiplied harvests far beyond what the ancients could imagine. Yet the old mountain terraces endure, still tended largely by hand. They face new threats now, as young people leave the villages for cities and a warming climate disrupts the rains. Some terraces, abandoned, are slowly crumbling back into the hillside. But where they survive, they remain a quiet monument to patience, to cooperation, and to the human will to feed the world by reshaping the very mountains themselves.